Hi, Leah.
Hi, Kamna. What's
So,
going on?
full disclosure, we are both sick.
Both of us. Now you're on the tail end of it.
Yes,
And
hopefully.
I just started antibiotics. So we don't know. You don't know what you're going to get today, guys.
I don't know, and I'm on antibiotics too.
Yeah.
And I think we have
So,
different things. So,
yeah. And by the way, we weren't together. We didn't share these germs. Like we've only seen each other through Zoom and we both seem to
yes,
have just tis the
it's
season.
yes, 'tis the season. That's right.
So,
So, today's topic is really kind of trippy, would you say?
good pun there. Yeah, I think it is. And it's something that I learned a lot about it, actually.
Future tripping.
Future tripping.
But you went a different direction than I went.
Of course, because isn't that what we always do? Yeah,
Yeah.
I went down a different road, and a lot of these words I can't pronounce very well. So, and that is not because I'm sick. That's just in general, I
We'll
can't
just
pronounce them.
blame it on the cold. How about
Okay,
that?
sounds good. Because I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna have to say that word on this podcast. But so before that though, how was your call to action?
I learned something very important for myself.
Okay, what was your call to action?
So my call to action was once I get medical clearance to start doing strength training again. Um, but during that duration, I got really sick. So I did it twice, but I was so fatigued that I was like, I don't have energy for this. I need to rest. And I was really trying to listen to my body. Um, the second part of that was to continue to try to be dairy free.
Oh yeah.
And the thing that I learned is when I give myself a call to action that's in the negative voice, so like if I say
Mhm.
I'm eliminating dairy, it's much harder for me to do because it's not an action that I can take. It's something that I have to remove, which is much harder.
So what would you have said?
I'm
Like,
not
what could you
sure,
say?
but
Okay,
I was thinking about that and I was thinking to for as much as I can to avoid dairy. And then if it
okay.
happens sometimes to not, think it's the end of the world. Like, oh
Hmm.
gosh, I broke my call to action just to try to avoid it as much as I
So what
can.
you're saying is the fact that you put it out there that you're not going to have it made you just think about it more and more and more.
Yes.
Hmm. I can see
Yes.
that. Yeah. Instead of saying, I'm going to avoid dairy at breakfast, I'm going to avoid dairy at lunch, avoid like step by step. Maybe there's a better way of even wording it. What would be a different way to word it?
So for me personally, and I think everybody's different. So somebody else might have a different response. But for me, I need to say, I'm just going to avoid it as much as I can. Instead of
Okay.
making a specific plan or I can't have it at breakfast, I can't have it at lunch, that doesn't work for me because that's still in the negative. So
Okay.
instead of adding something, I'm taking something away, which is really restrictive. And my mind doesn't do well with that.
Okay. What about this way? What if you said, I'm going to have almond milk this week and non-dairy cheese this week? Like you said, what you could have versus things that you couldn't, and then slowly build that up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already partially there.
Yeah.
I have to cough 1 second.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, then the only reason I'm thinking this is because I think in one of our call to action groups, you had suggested to somebody, make a list of what you can have
Mm-hmm.
and focus on that. And I think that's a great point is like, we're so used to focusing on I can't have this, I can't have that. Like maybe just say, all right, today I'm going to have soy milk or not soy milk, almond milk or whatever it may be.
Right. I mean, I'm
Right?
already doing that a little bit. I am drinking oat milk and I have vegan cheese and I have a
Yeah.
lot of good options. It's just that when that if I'm out somewhere or I get fast
Mhm.
food, we got pizza and they don't have an option for vegan cheese, and then I'm like, oh no, I blew it. So
But this is a great idea because the holidays are coming up and there's so many of us that may be saying, I don't want to eat any candy. I don't want to eat any candy. Like, what can we say instead?
mhm.
Like,
What
I
do you?
will have candy that is not dairy. I will allow myself to enjoy candy that is not dairy for you.
Mhm.
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
me too. Or I will have dessert at this party as long as it is not loaded with sugar. I don't know. Like, You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, what's the right
Right.
wording?
I think this has been a gradual process for me, is that I am just trying to, if I'm eating something, I better make sure I am really enjoying it.
You have been saying that all week. Like, your face better even say it.
Your face better say it. Yeah, you should be like,
Mm.
and nobody can see me, but you should be like, this is the best thing ever I put in my mouth. Instead of, well, it's all right. I should just finish it because I paid for it.
Yes, 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 yes. I'm gonna have to maybe that'll be my call to action. Maybe I'm changing mine this week and it'll be
Okay.
pay attention to my facial expressions
Okay.
or at least be
And
aware of them.
I would love if you could somehow take a picture. That would be so
Of my
wonderful.
or have my kids catch me while I'm eating.
Yeah.
Well, but, not to change the subject, but to change the subject because it kind of is a good segue. I need to clarify some things on last episode because so many people have reached out and they said, I don't understand how you don't enjoy food.
Okay.
And I want to be very clear to everybody that I love the taste of food. There are
Hmm.
so many things I love the taste of food. I don't like the feelings surrounding the food that I'm eating,
Oh, what does that
all
mean?
of it. So, like a couple examples. I took my kids and I went out for Mexican one night. My husband had something to do, so that it was the three of us, and it was just okay. And I ate half of it, and I was like, it was just okay. But then the bill came, and I was like, I just have all of this guilt around eating this $60 meal for the three of us that was like not even that good. Like, so there's like one example. Like, so then I didn't enjoy that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my time with my kids, but I could have enjoyed the time with my kids playing cards at home, not spending $60 at a restaurant. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one example. Another example is like, I don't enjoy making dinner, which I've said millions of times. I
Right.
don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy the cleanup. Even if I'm enjoying the food, I'm going, oh my God, I gotta go clean up after this and load the dishwasher and da 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 da. And there's just so much to actually eating food that I don't enjoy. I like the taste of it. The third part of it is like I enjoy the taste of it, but the entire time I'm eating it or right after, I'm like, did I really need that? Did I really need that? Like, yeah, it was delicious. Yeah, I liked it, but did I need it? Like, that's going through my head a lot. Like, do I really need it? Is there enough protein in it? Is there enough fiber in it? Did I have all my protein today? Did I have all my fiber today? There's so much going on when it comes to me deciding what I'm eating that it's taking the joy out of what I am eating.
Hmm.
Like I had a birthday party and I had a piece of cake and it was delicious cake and I loved it. But I also was like, I really probably shouldn't have had that until I ate all of my protein that I needed for the day or whatever else. Do you know what I mean?
Why? I know you're trying to clarify, so I shouldn't ask you questions,
No, you
but I'm
can because I'm making everybody more confused on it. I wish somebody could have understood like I love the taste of food and I'm eating, clearly I'm eating, but I'm just not enjoying it.
so what I'm hearing you saying is that there's a lot of work surrounding meal or a snack, that part to you is really cumbersome.
It takes the joy
So,
out of it.
right, it colors the experience you have when you eat. It's not the eating that's displeasurable, it's the work
Everything,
before, the work during, and even the work after.
yes. Yes.
So
And I will
it's
say there was one example where I actually realized I totally enjoyed an entire meal. I'm like, I enjoyed it. And it was one night I was working later hours, and my husband called me, and I was at work, and I picked it up, and he's like, I left cash on the counter. I'm going to my brother's. I ordered the pizza. Just pick it up on your way home. I got you a salad. I got me a salad, and I got the kids their pizzas. Just grab it and then come home. I enjoyed that 100% because I didn't have to come home and say, what are we eating? What do you guys want? Do you want this? Do you want that? I didn't have to come up with anything. It was already decided and done. I enjoyed it. And I think that let me realize that when I'm not enjoying my food, it's because there's so much decision making around it.
oh yeah.
So much. Like even my own little lunches that I make for myself, I was like, there's so many decisions. Like, all right, but that only has 12 grams of protein, and I really need to have more protein if I'm going to feel fuller longer. And it's just, there's so much. Am I making
I hear
myself a
you.
little
I,
clearer?
I hear you.
Okay.
Deciding, I feel like if someone told me what to make every day, I'd be fine. But deciding what to make, making sure I have the ingredients is so much work that I can't handle it.
And it takes the joy out of it. Like I just feel like some foods that I make are delicious and they taste good, but I don't find joy in eating it because I know what went into that. I know how much money went into making that dish. I know how much cleanup is going to take. Like all of that goes into it for me. And maybe it's
Well,
that mom brain that we
yeah.
have. Like a lot of us have this mom brain going on, like, you know,
On a side note, and this is not really our topic, but I
I know.
watched this, I guess a reel today, and this lady was talking about, she was on a podcast. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. You
She
want me
was
to?
talking
Okay.
about how a mom brain is different than a dad brain. A dad can say, I'm going to bed, and he goes to sleep. A
Hmm.
mom says, I'm going to bed, and she gets into bed.
And all she can think about is did Alyssa do her homework? Did David take a shower? Did when he showered, did he clean himself? Did Alyssa brush her hair? Like 500 million things are going through my
That's
head.
exactly right. And that's because of the estrogen that we have. It makes us worry about the people that we love.
Okay, so maybe my estrogen is at blame on why I'm not enjoying my food. I just want to blame
Maybe.
something anyway. But I do want everybody to know that I do love the taste of food. I love it. Like it's just I'm not getting the enjoyment I feel like I should be getting from it.
So you're saying that people were really worried about you
Oh
this
my
week.
God, I had so many people say, I don't understand how you don't enjoy your food. I wish that was my problem. And I think that I must have stated it wrong or didn't explain myself.
Well, it's hard to open up about something that the whole world loves, and maybe you're kind of like meh about.
Yeah. I just feel like there's a lot of work involved in eating
I
for me.
understand that. I
Yeah.
understand that. And then you cook for like an hour and then it's over in 10 minutes. You're like, well, is that worth it?
And the mess and yes, I know. But anyway, that wasn't even my call to action. So I'm sorry we segued real quick though. My call to action was to schedule my time for arm exercises. And I did do that until I got sick. And then I took a break. I said, I'm just relaxing and not worrying about any of that right now.
Good.
So yeah, I'm okay with it.
We both took a break this week.
I know.
We needed it. So, are you ready to get into this topic?
Yes, I am. Let's do it.
Okay. So, when we were talking about future tripping, and we've been talking a lot about it in our call to action groups. And
Mm-hmm.
just a side note of what they are is we meet once a week. They're 10 people. And if you have goals that you want, we meet over Zoom so you can be anywhere in the world. And we help you stay on top of your goals and we figure out what's getting in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we figured out in our call to action groups that a lot of people have this problem of future tripping that sort of paralyzes them.
You just nailed it. You worded it perfectly. Because there's so many people that literally will say, like, I don't even know what to do. I don't know how to handle the situation coming up. And it's like paralyzing. I never thought of that word, but you're right.
Well, I think it is. We both found the same definition, which is anticipatory anxiety.
That
Uh,
word is very hard to say.
yes, it is.
Anticipatory. So future tripping is also known as, it's officially named anticipatory anxiety.
Yes. A type of fear that occurs when an anticipated event in the future causes distress. These
Yep.
events can include both major occasions such as presentations, but depending on the individual, could also happen before some minor event like going out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think the important thing to remember with that definition is we're all different.
Mm-hmm.
So, what could be future tripping for me, you could be like, what's the big deal? I don't see the problem.
Yes.
But that's not a fair assessment for us to do for anybody because we all have a different thing.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, like, when I read that definition of future tripping, I was like, I don't think that that's what most people actually have. And then that was very rude in general of me. Like, I was like,
Oh,
that's not nice. That was really judgmental that you said, like, in my head, like, these are the conversations. I'm like, because I was trying to think of people that have said that to me, like, oh, you're future tripping. Like, and a lot of, I think of what it is, and this is a word I can't say, catastrophizing,
hmm,
which is you're assuming the worst is going to happen. So I think there is a slight difference between future tripping or anticipatory anxiety. Is like anticipatory anxiety is what I'm envisioning, and maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Is like you don't know what's going to happen, so you're just anxious about it.
hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen at this party, so I like that. Where catastrophizing is, I'm going to go to this party and my pants are going to fall down, and I'm going to forget that I didn't put underwear on because I didn't clean them, and I'm going to be standing there butt naked. Like, do you know what I mean?
I love that
By the way, I
example.
have no idea where that example came from. I've never thought that. I don't think.
Oh my gosh.
So, but I think there is a slight difference in the two.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
I mean, I think so. I think one is a degree higher than the other. So future tripping is just, I think we all tend to do it. And I have a
Mhm.
few examples that I was thinking of. But I think catastrophizing is more like end of the world type of a feeling.
Right.
Um, I was thinking we could go through some of the examples and then see like what if we have ever had these happen to
Okay.
us.
Before we do that, though, I think we
Yeah.
need to realize like sometimes we need to catch ourselves and ask and separate the two. What am I doing? Am
Oh.
I future tripping?
Oh,
Excuse
okay.
me. Or am I catastrophizing it?
Yeah.
I think there's a difference there because if you're just anxious over what's coming up, I'm not saying that that's more normal, but it's like it's what happens. A lot of us do that. Catastrophizing is exhausting and it's taking you down this path
Yeah.
of, oh my God, the worst thing's going to happen in the world. So, oh, sorry,
Right.
go on.
No, no, I think that's properly right. So I had a few examples that I was thinking of. One is these are just things randomly I was thinking. It's not necessarily happened to me, but maybe I was thinking about it. What will happen if I retire and I lose my job and or I lose my job and I don't have any income and I'm gonna struggle and then I'm like just going down that dark bleak road. And then so you
Mm-hmm.
can't retire because you're worried about your money, for
Mm-hmm.
example.
And then my medications go up, and then I need my car breaks down, and I need a new car, and then I'm going to just keep working for another year or two or three.
Yeah. Even if
Right?
you're miserable in your job or maybe you've
Yeah.
saved enough money, but you're gonna think, well, it's not enough. I need to earn
I
more.
have done that with a job. I have
Really?
said, I'm gonna quit as soon as I pay off this charge. And then inevitably there's another charge card that gets put
Hmm.
money on because life happens. Like, yes, I've done that.
Yeah. Um, what if the doctor gives me bad news? So when you go see the doctor and you're sitting in the room with your gown on, that's like 10 sizes too big anyway, and it's like drafty, and you're sitting in the cold, bleak room, and then you just start just going down the worst road. I think
Hmm.
that's probably a catastrophizing event.
And I think that that is people won't even make an appointment because of that.
Yes.
Like they're like, well,
Yes.
I'm guilty of it. Like I was like, I don't even want to make the appointment because I don't even want to know what's going to happen.
Yep. Yep. I
And that is like that future tripping that I'm allowing, I stop there. And then once you're in the office and you're waiting and you're waiting and waiting, that's when the catastrophizing comes in. And you're like, they're taking so long because they're getting three more doctors involved and they've never seen this before. And that, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yep.
it's crazy how our minds work.
Oh yeah. I have a couple more.
Okay, go ahead.
Just to make it because I think we all do it and I want it to be relatable to people. What if I go to the party and I don't know anyone and I don't have anything to talk about and I'm not interesting and I wore the wrong outfit, which has happened to me.
Uh-huh.
And like everything, my hair doesn't look good or my makeup is wrong or whatever.
Mm, yeah,
It's better that
that's
I just stay
definitely
home. Yeah.
that's definitely future tripping, don't you think?
Yeah.
That's the
Not,
what ifs. Like, what if nobody talks to me? What if I say something stupid? What if I put my foot in my mouth? You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Which everybody has done all of those things.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Um, what if I go somewhere and they don't have anything that I can eat? Now, this is
Oh,
something that
yes.
I have done because I'm vegetarian. So either if we're going on a trip, I've packed a lot of snacks. There have been times when I've had a suitcase full of food, or if I've had like multiple bags I could take, or I've eaten before I've gone, or I eat when I come home because I'm like, they're
Mm.
not going to have anything for me. And there's, whatever. I just go down that.
Note on that. Is that awkward then? Do you feel bad? Is what I mean. Like, do you feel bad that there's nothing for you to eat?
I don't feel
Because,
bad. A lot of times I don't trust the item. So
mhm.
if it's like past one of those fancy events where they're passing hors d'oeuvres, I generally don't take it
Okay.
because I don't
And
know.
that's easier. But what if it's like let's say you came to my house and I thought I had something for you, but I didn't. Is it awkward? Do you feel embarrassed, or I don't know what the right word is to say to somebody, no, thank you. There's nothing here that I can eat.
Generally I don't have a problem. Usually there's like vegetables or something, so I don't have a problem. But if it's someone that I know, then I can say, hey, can I make myself a salad or
Okay.
something.
Yeah.
But if it's a party, it's a bigger kind of a
So
darker
there's like a
road
yeah, there's a lot of stress with that for you.
for me, but I think other people too.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
Somebody who
for
is
sure.
gluten free or dairy free, or they have
Not free.
not free. Yeah, somebody who has an allergy, a real life thing.
Yeah, I would imagine that that could be future tripping for sure.
It's somewhere you have to be on time, and then there's traffic, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna be late, and they're gonna fire me, and then like they're gonna be mad. And
This has happened to you, I'm sure. I'm typically more 10 to 15 minutes early so that when I do hit that, I'm like, all right, this is why I leave early. This is why we leave early.
I'm trying to do that, but it's in my blood to be 5 minutes late.
I know. And I think people are born that way. Don't worry.
Um, this is a dark one, but what if something happens to my loved ones? Like if they're traveling or my kids are not at home. So then I think about, are they safe? Sometimes don't judge me on this. Sometimes I check their location to make sure they're safe and they're
Do
home.
they know you do this?
Yeah, they do it for me too.
Okay. Oh,
They
okay.
do it. Yeah. Um,
I think that's common.
yeah. Oh, I had it this thought because I was listening to this. I don't know what I was listening. So, my husband had the news on, and the news is not a good thing for me to listen to when I'm future tripping for sure. But what if this guy was talking about AI, artificial intelligence, and how like all this chat GPT and all that stuff is happening where you can have everything automated and it can respond automatically. And
Oh,
I was like, what if AI takes over and then people don't need to have jobs? And then, like, how are you going to earn money? And how do I know if it's like, I went down a dark road with that.
I'm sure that's again, I think that's popular right now.
Yeah.
Everybody is worried about that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah. And
I
then
think I thought about it with I can't tell you at least once a day I read something on social media all about how somebody can't stand the grocery stores have self checkouts and it's da 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 and I'm like those people maybe are future tripping. Like what's next? Is this going to happen and then this going to
right.
happen and then this, right?
Right.
I think yeah.
And then the last one I had is this is me. Okay. What if I eat the ice cream or the dessert and then I'm going to deserve to be fat because I ate
Oh,
that?
but
Like,
wait,
yeah.
deserve?
Well, okay, maybe not deserve, but maybe I'm going to get
No,
fat, or I'm going to like,
or
I'm
push
never
me.
going to lose the
I'm
weight.
never gonna get to my goal now because you just had this birthday cake at the dinner or at whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's a first again. And now is that future tripping or catastrophizing?
Oh, that's a good question. I think maybe that could be catastrophizing.
I think so too. Because
Wow.
like if you check yourself, like really, is this one piece of cake or this one scoop of ice cream gonna make you never lose weight?
Yeah. I would like to know a little bit more from you because you went down the catastrophizing
I
road.
did.
What exactly does that mean?
Okay. So what I found, and I'm going to read this, is we actually believe that we can both mentally and physically protect ourselves when we catastrophize. So it's a belief
Oh,
in our brain that once we start catastrophizing, that we're going to be able to, this is crazy. It's a form of your brain saying, I can predict the future.
okay.
And it's crazy because everybody I know that catastrophizes doesn't even believe that anybody can predict the future. So I'm like, I always want to, now I read that and I'm like, I can't wait to say to that person X, Y, or
Yeah,
Z. Like,
but on the flip side, if that actual thing happens and you're like, see, I was right.
I know that's what I, okay. So wait, what it does is it creates the wrong emotional response for future situations
What
when you
is the wrong?
catastrophize.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. It just means, to me, I think it means is like we're already making a wrong assumption over something that's going to happen, and we don't even know if that's what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It creates the wrong emotional response for future situations. I need to dig into that one a little bit more on my
Yeah,
own.
because then what would the right response be?
Right. Well, the right response is to not even go down that road.
Well, yeah. We'll talk
Do you know
about
what
that
I
in a minute.
mean?
Yeah.
Right. So,
Some
anyway,
some of the strategies, I think.
all
I
right, you
read
have strategies, right?
I have strategies, but I want to read something that I
Okay.
was so deeply moved by. I've been thinking about it all weekend. Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. In Psychology Today, they quoted this Lao Tzu, TZO, that they had a quote from this person. And he said, if you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present.
Oh my goodness, that's deep quote.
Right? But I was so mind blown by this because I'm like, sometimes I feel anxious and I start doing this whole future tripping thing. Like
Do you think this is a true quote?
I was like really trying to think about it. And when I'm anxious, I'm worried about what's coming up ahead. But if I'm like thinking about, and I've done this also, is I'm thinking I was such a bad mom and I did this and I did that, and it makes me like sad and depressed. I'm thinking about stuff that happened before, like in the
Oh my
past.
God.
And you know, those people, and I would love to know the secret of these people who are just like, I'm chill. It doesn't bother me. Nothing bothers me. I would love to be
Yeah.
that person. They're living in the present.
I wonder how.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
know anybody that we could interview?
Yes. Let's see. I have to think about
Like
it.
that's just like, and maybe we interview like five of them. Like, how do you stay right now in this moment and chill and
Yeah,
relax about it?
I think it's a good idea because, you know, I think both of us tend to overload our brains with our to-do list, with our people, with our I have to worry about these things and I have to worry about those things. And even a small thing like, okay, this is where I went. We have work that we share and I
Mhm.
tend to not do it. And you always like do it. And I think, she's gonna think I'm lazy,
Oh my
and
God.
then she's gonna fire me as her partner, and she's gonna like
Catastrophizing right there.
I'm just like down the darkest road because I didn't do something that I think I should be sharing the load for.
Oh my God. See how catastrophizing we are? It's
I
great.
know
Wait.
I am.
Okay, wait. So let me read you this about catastrophic people. I don't know how to say it, but the people who are catastrophizing in general. They're
Okay.
first of all, they're less likely to try new things.
Yes.
They always notice when they do try new things what went wrong.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And that will always get stored in your memory. Well, do you
Yes.
remember that the time that I did do that, I hit the tree or I ran the car into you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are three characteristics about people that typically catastrophize. They always, always, always remember what pick out what went wrong.
Yes.
They're never like, all right, well, that was fun. and we learned some new things today. They're never on the positive side of that.
I randomly was having a conversation with my son this weekend about he was talking about his fantasy football league and how it's not doing very well. And I just like to keep up with it because I don't know football at all. So for me, it was like, it's interesting. And he was talking about something, and I said, the experience that I've had, and this is not necessarily true for everybody, but when I think, like for when I play bingo with people randomly, people have this at their parties, and I think, I'm going to win today. I know I'm going to win today. I win.
You do?
I win. And the day that I'm like, I don't think I'm going to win today, I don't.
Really? Or maybe
And
you
I'm not saying I can read the future. I'm saying that I put it into the universe of what I want to happen. So if we think of something negative, I believe that that's what's going to happen because that's the
yeah.
data we're collecting.
I believe that too. Yeah. Hmm.
So I have some strategies for future tripping. Do you have some for catastrophizing?
Yeah, and they might be the same, but I will say this real quick. One more fact about catastrophizing people. It's your inner critic who drives your catastrophizing thoughts.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember that we did a whole podcast episode on your inner critic.
Yes.
Your inner critic is the one that's constantly driving your catastrophic thoughts. And I'm just stating that for everybody to let that sit in for a little bit.
The thing I always like to think about is when you have an inner critic, whose voice is it really?
I know you say that.
I don't think it's your own voice. I think somebody planted seeds, that grew.
I know. I still don't know who mine is.
No?
No.
Hmm. Anyway, it's an interesting thought. So, I was on childteenfamilytherapy.com, and
Okay.
they had 5 things you could do to work on future tripping.
Okay. What were they?
So the first one is accept yourself for who you are. You are unique, and that is something to celebrate and learn to love yourself. That's the first
Hmm.
one is just accept you're how you are.
Okay.
Like, for example, I'm a crier and I'm going to cry. I was watching I was watching the finale of Big Bang because we started this series from the beginning, so we finished it yesterday. And it was the last episode and I got emotional and I'm like, I don't want to cry because my husband's going to think it's a sitcom and you're crying over a sitcom. But it was an emotional scene, but that's me.
Just cry.
I'm a
Yeah.
crier. Yeah, whatever.
That's your strength. Remember.
But I have to
Yeah.
accept myself for who I am.
Okay.
And then the second one is to stay in the present, which is something a little bit
Yeah.
harder to do,
That's
but to
very hard to do.
ask yourself, what can I do right now to improve my situation?
Hmm. I also have stay in the present. That's part of the catastrophizing. And a lot of the staying in the present went down, like if you were going to think of a flow chart, to stay in the present, it said the next step would be to focus on the facts of what's
Oh,
going on.
I like
Like the
that.
facts. Like what are the facts going on about the situation?
Do you have an example you can share?
Um, like if I'm future tripping about something, like let's say tomorrow I don't know what I'm going to do, like the facts are I don't know if this is even a good example, but like I'm going to stay late tomorrow at work. It's like, well, do I do it or do I not do it or whatever? Like all of that is like the facts are I'm not feeling good right now and I need to just focus on right now. I'm not feeling good, so
Right.
chances are I'm probably not going to feel 100% tomorrow. There's no use to stress over it. Just don't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes total sense to me.
Focus on facts. What
Um,
else?
become open-minded and learn to adapt, which I think is also harder. But you can
Mhm.
ask, is this situation in my control? And if not, how can I adapt and move on?
I like that. Which goes along with this one. Act like a reporter.
Oh, what does that mean?
Act like you're a reporter asking you questions about the situation. Now, I don't think this is
Oh,
realistic for a lot of times, but if you really catch yourself in it, like describe the situation. Um, are you making judgments? If you're making judgments, what are those judgments? Remove the emotion if you can, like completely take yourself out and pretend like you're the reporter interviewing you. Like, okay, so this event coming up for you this Friday, who's all going to be there? Like, go through like if you were a reporter. Does that make sense?
I like that
I
so
like that
much.
too. I liked it too.
I
I
like
think
that
it'd be
because
fun.
you can sort of pull yourself out of your body and say, okay, look,
Mm-hmm.
you got this outfit on, you're going to this party. Just
Yep.
talk to the people. If you don't like it, you can come home.
Yep.
Just say, who's going to be there? This is what I know. What kind of
Yep.
food are they going to have? This is what I
Yep.
know. This is what I don't know. And I have my own car, so I can come home.
Uh-huh. Be the reporter.
Yeah, I love that so much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What else did you have?
Be be rational and positive, which I think some of these statements are a little broad, but
Mm-hmm.
basically I think it's the same thing as be a reporter. Is analyze your situation and then
Yeah.
from a logical standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have
Okay.
any more?
I had think in shades of gray,
Oh,
which is a great tip too, is like the world is full of grays and a lot of us are guilty of doing black or white. And it's like,
right.
okay, is there really going to be nobody at the party that's going to talk to you? No, there's probably going to be one. So think about at least one person that you know you can talk to put yourself in that gray area versus the black, which is nobody's going to talk to you. You know what I mean? Like,
I
same thing with
this
the food. Like, put yourself in the gray
yes.
area. Like, there's probably going to be a veggie tray.
Right.
So don't stress over it. Just stay with the veggie tray.
This situation has actually happened to me where when you're sitting with your family, like extended family, and then you're just talking to somebody but you're missing the conversation over there and you're like, "Oh my god, they look like they're having so much fun. What am I missing?" But then you're not being present with the person that you're
With,
with.
oh my God, I do that.
So I had to actually
And
work
then I
on
feel
this.
terrible.
Yes, you're like, I'm disrespecting this person who's sitting next to me when I could just be enjoying them.
I did it at work last week. Like I was talking to somebody, actively talking to them. And in the background, I heard something and I stopped that and interjected in that one. Like, how much more rude could I be?
I
Oh,
don't think I think it's very normal.
I
But
know, but it rude still.
I had to actively work on that to say I need to be present where I am. And
Yeah.
it took a hot minute.
I think that's key is that actively working on it, like
Yeah.
catching yourself doing it.
Yep. The last one I had was practice self-soothing.
Oh,
So shift gears and fall back on what makes you feel good.
okay. Fall back on what makes you feel good.
So if I mean, we can continue the example of the party because that's the
Okay.
one that's fresh in my brain. Is it's for me, it's better if I do one-on-one conversations rather than talking in a whole group. I don't do as well. So I know for me, one-on-one conversations, I'm going to be much better. So that I know I can feel good about. Or I know that if I peruse the food table beforehand, I can make a better decision. And that's something I can control. Or if there's beverages, maybe I could just look over what there is and then see what I want to pick. Or same for desserts, like if I have information for me personally, I can make a better decision instead of like grasping at, oh, I guess I better eat this or do this or
Mm-hmm. That's a great tip too. Yeah.
but
Okay.
that just works for me. So
I have one more.
okay.
Label your thought.
Oh,
Now this is what they mean. And I love this. Instead of saying, I'm going to have nobody to talk to at this party, say, I have a thought about this. I have a thought that there's going to be nobody at this party.
mm-hmm,
You're reinforcing in your head that this is not a fact. This is just a thought that is in your
mm-hmm.
brain. Like I read this morning and I went to the doctor for my ear and I have all kinds of ear PTSD. And I was literally going, oh my God, my ear is collapsing. I know it. I'm going to need surgery. And then I immediately read this and went, no, I have a thought that my ear is going to X, Y, or Z. And it
Right.
did change my outlook because it
Oh,
reinforced in my brain, this is just your thought. Like your thought is going over your imagination and your thoughts are going wild right now. Like,
right.
but I love the fact that we need to stop we need to say, I have a thought that this is going to be a really difficult day, instead of saying, this is going to be a
Yes.
real difficult day. I have a thought about it. And that's what's going to reinforce in your brain that that is not necessarily going to be true. Take a step back, take a deep breath, stay present, because it's just a thought.
Right.
Does that
You
make
know,
sense?
yes, totally. It made me think of, and this might be a too specific of an example, but in uh This Is Us, the show, there was a couple and they would do worst case scenario. So in order to prevent the future tripping, they would say, okay, you go. What's your worst case scenario? And they would say it out loud. And then when you say it out loud, it sounds a little bit ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
So then I just thought that that whole method, it worked for that couple, but they were on a show. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's such a good way to sort of verbalize all your fears and say, yeah, it's a fear. Maybe it's irrational. Like you said, label it. But
Yeah.
maybe it's just my mind working overtime.
Yeah. But I think that's a good thing too, to sometimes ask somebody or check yourself. Like, all right, well, what is the worst thing that could happen?
Right.
And then, well, is that really the end of the world? I think you've done that to me before.
Have I?
I think you have. Like, you've been like, well, what's the worst thing that's what, not in a, like, helping me through something. You've said, like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen?
Hmm.
And then how will you get through that? Would be the next question.
Yeah.
To
I think,
see,
yeah, that helps
yeah.
me to sort of figure out if I'm struggling and if I don't know what to do or where to go, what's the worst case? And then how would I
Mhm.
handle the worst case?
Right. Hmm.
So, yeah, this is this has been an interesting topic, and I am relieved that I already have put some of these methods in practice.
Yes, I think the same way. I like some of the newer ones that we're talking about too,
Mhm.
but I think it's a good one.
I think I'm going
Don't
to do
you?
that. Be a reporter in your life.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Get a fake microphone.
We have
Um,
real ones.
I know we do, but I can't take it off and sing in the bathroom with
No,
it.
yeah, you can't. No.
No, you need a hairbrush for that.
Yeah,
So, but this was a fun episode. Do you have a call to action?
I do. And I was struggling between two, and tried to talk it out with you. And I realized that you said do both. And I said, I can't do both because that's overreaching for me. So I need to focus on
Okay.
one that's really manageable. Um, and I think in making these call to actions, I've really discovered I have big, lofty goals, but I have to make it really realistic for myself.
Hmm.
So my call to
So
action for
wait,
this,
does realistic for yourself mean small? Like smaller, like take it to do it little for you?
kind of, it also means more
Okay.
specific,
Specific. Okay.
and it also means more of a positive spin on it.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what I mean. So my call to action this week is I've discovered that even when I'm working out and I may be getting all my steps, I'm not moving enough during the day. So I need to make sure that every hour, I need to set an alarm, or when it hits the hour mark or whatever, I need to get up and move at least 100 steps.
Hmm.
And I think when my kids were little, that was like a natural thing that happened. But now I do my classwork and I'm sitting. I do my other work, I'm sitting. I'm reading, I'm sitting. I'm watching TV, I'm sitting. Just sitting, sitting, sitting. Even though
Hmm.
I'm working out, but I know that's not healthy. So I'm just
Yeah.
going to try to get the extra steps in.
I think that you are not alone in that at all. I know so many people that will, and they're not, I've read study after study that, and it's not saying that don't work out at all, but like even a 30-minute exercise, if you sit the rest of the day, it kind of washes it out. But it's,
Yeah.
I mean, don't not do it, but like you need to keep your body moving.
Oh, I'm going to keep working out. That's a part of my day, but I
Yeah.
also need to have like
Move your body.
constant, yeah, I need it.
Yeah.
I think it's making me sad.
Oh, the fact that
Yeah.
you're just sitting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting thing. Do you think that's a lot of people? Sitting around
Maybe.
just makes you sad?
Yeah. And then it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know? My husband said
Oh,
to me this weekend, he's like, you have been running and you need to sit down and rest. And at first I was like, oh, thank goodness someone gave me permission to rest. But then I was like, man, I walked 2,000 steps today. This is kind of sad. I needed the rest.
Yeah.
But I was like, was two minded, but I was like, oh, how sad. I haven't done anything today. I'm not productive. I haven't even hit
Mm,
any of the things on my to-do list. This is not okay.
mm. Are you gonna put steps on your to-do list?
Yes,
Okay.
that's a really good way to put it.
Like
Yes.
put on your to-do list 10,000 1,000 steps, then two, I don't know, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so many steps by 3 o'clock or something like that.
Yes.
Just a
That's
thought.
very specific. I like it.
Yeah. Okay.
What's yours?
Mine is I guess this does play into this because I'm constantly future tripping and going or catastrophizing or whatever it is. I'm constantly stressing over the fact that I do not get enough protein at all. And I do really good when I'm working on it and figuring it out on a daily basis. I mean, we've had episodes, this isn't a call to action for me in the past. Like, this isn't anything
Mm-hmm.
new. And I think I get burned out. I get sick of it. Like, I just need to come up with, so this is it this week. I want to come up with 5 good quality protein breakfasts that I can have under my belt.
Oh,
And
I
I don't
like
know
that.
what that means. I don't know if that means I make them ahead of time. I don't know if that means this week I just play around and figure out how many grams are in this or whatever, but I need to have 5 ready for me to just know that I have at least 5.
Okay, so this is connected to what you said earlier. If you do the pre-work in terms of figuring out the data about your breakfast, for having the breakfast ideas for in rotation, you're going to eliminate a lot of that work,
And
which takes the pleasure out of it for you.
but I'm hoping then that it'll already be out. I'll have the thought
Yeah.
out and I'll enjoy it now.
Right.
So then what Wednesdays, I'll just Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or whatever. I'm just gonna enjoy my breakfast because I've already figured out
Yeah.
that this food has 25 grams. This breakfast has 25 grams.
Right. And when
I'm
you take the
hoping.
workout, you're like, okay, check, done.
Yes.
It's good.
I'm hoping it plays into that. Like I just need some ideas, you know?
Yes.
I and if anybody has them that isn't like a protein shake or a protein bar, I'm all for it. Please let me
Yeah.
know because I want it to be food too. Like I don't want it to be like premier protein is 25 grams. Great, but that's not food. I need to chew.
We will ask that question in our show notes or
Okay.
in our page of what breakfast foods do you eat so we all can get some ideas.
Yeah.
Because I
So
think breakfast is a place we all struggle.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it starts your day off. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like once if I can successfully get 25 done by lunch, I'm gonna feel so much more successful going into the second half of my day and
Hmm.
maybe enjoy my food then. Cause I'll be like, oh, I
Yeah.
already had 25 grams, you
Right.
know.
Right. Right. Yeah. I love
And
that
I
for you.
remember I felt so good when I was doing it. I mean, I just felt good.
Hmm. Well, I think you have to keep in mind that you need to take some of the work out of it so that it's much more manageable for you. And that
Mhm.
this call to action is perfect.
So, oh, good. I'm glad. I hope it helpful to other people and I hope they share their ideas with me as well.
Absolutely.
So, all right.
All right. Have a great week.
Bye. See you next week.
Bye.